I am push this little screen share button and hopefully you guys see
Yeah.
what I need you to see. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, I think we're there. Okay, do you guys see a big blue screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. It's working so far. Um, yeah, I guess just really quick, because I don't think I know anybody on this call except for the people I've worked with directly with FasterFunds and Faster House. But my name is Melissa, and I've been an agent for a real estate agent for probably 11 years or so. So I'm not new to the real estate game. I'm not super new to flipping either. This is probably the 6th house that I've flipped, but it is my first little venture that I've had with using FasterFunds lending to help me fund this project. And I actually found the cabin through Faster House as well. So I used both of you guys for this little project. And so it's been a very lovely experience. And so I'm excited to share with you guys how this went. So I, when I started getting the emails for Faster House, this one in particular caught my attention because it was Weldon Spring. It's actually an 8-minute drive from where I live now. So I knew the area well. And it was just something that I like living close to my properties and flipping, because then I can get there whenever I need to be. And this one was just unique because it was a cabin in pretty much the middle of a normal neighborhood. Each house is on probably an acre or two of land. So the houses are spread out in this particular neighborhood, which is really just a side street. So let me see if I can actually, I think I'm going to have to stop sharing, well, not sharing, but exit out of this to show you the before pictures. Can you still see my screen? Okay, perfect. So I don't know how big these are for you guys, but so this is little cabin. And this is her in all of her glory when we first met. And so it was kind of scary. I've never done a hoarder home before. And so for me to walk into something like this, it didn't scare me because I just, having the mindset of flipping homes, I can always see past that part of it. But it was definitely, it needed some love. But the uniqueness of this property is that there was a little creek that ran behind the house with this bridge. This is all still part of the cabin's property. And so all I could think about was just vision, vision, vision. This is when we started the demo, the entire house had to be cleaned out and then gutted. I mean, there was no saving anything. I think I told my contractor, wait, why are you throwing away the dishwasher? It's stainless steel. Maybe we can use it. He just looked at me and was like, no. So, and if pictures could also display, like if you could smell a picture, then there no more words would be necessary. And so the smell in this house was so repulsive. This is when we finally had it cleaned and it was an empty shell. But I'll get more into that later. But this house just, I mean, there were areas in this house that I like the basement, I wouldn't even go down into until it was cleaned out and sprayed with deodorizer shellac paint, because it was just so bad. The lady who lived here before, bless her, but just one of those homes where the dogs pooped everywhere in the house. She smoked in the house. There was also a surprise find, which I'll tell you guys more about later. So back to the little PowerPoint. So those are the before pictures, just so that maybe you can appreciate the afters a little bit better. Okay, so as I mentioned before, I found the deal through Faster House emails. It's 3 bedrooms, 3 baths. There was a full bath on the main level. There's a loft area with a full bath, and the basement had a full bath. 3 bedrooms was actually on public record, so I went with it, but technically the third bedroom could be not really a third bedroom. It was more like there was a loft and it was very open. So but it had its own full bathroom, but it was open to like the living room area. So, I knew that a future buyer was either going to love it and be okay with just having 2 bedrooms on the main level and then an open third option bedroom upstairs, or they're going to hate it because it's not truly a 3-bedroom home, if that makes sense. We did add a bedroom in the basement, but I couldn't really count that as a bedroom because there's no windows in that room. So, but there's lots of flexibility with where you want to have a room. So technically 2 bedrooms, but we called it 3-bedroom anyway, because that's what public record had already said. So between the 3 levels, the main level, the loft, and the basement, it was about a 2,500 square foot home. So not too bad. And also going into it, I knew that the end buyer was gonna, this cabin was just special. And I was like, that's either gonna be gold for me or it's going to take a while because it's a unique home for a unique buyer. So we just kind of went with it. I purchased the property for $283,280. I did ask Faster Lending to pitch in for the rehab. If you've done deals with Faster Lending before, then you probably know their rules of 75 ARV is their cap. I felt like I could do this with that money. So my ARV in doing comps was 450. And I was adamant I could get to 450. And I remember talking to Dave a little bit about it. And Brian was like, I don't know, like I could see someone paying 425. And he's like, but 450, sure, we'll roll with it. And I was like, yeah, it's going to be 450. So then that put me at a all-in lending of $337,500. And that 75% is just, I think this is one of the lessons, I'm jumping ahead now, that I learned just in being an investor. I know a lot of times we think like, oh, if I can just make, and everyone has their own rules of what number they're looking for it to be worth the risk and worth the time, because it is time consuming to flip a house. But that 75%, I feel like was a great learning experience for me. I don't think I've done, I flipped a house with that steep of a margin before. So that's where we landed. Hopefully those numbers make sense. Okay, so instead of giving you my initial budget, which I think is what this PowerPoint was asking me to do, I couldn't do that because my initial budget was just squashed. So instead, I wanted to give you a snapshot of what things actually cost me. And then everything was just kind of like lumped, like all the other things. And in my initial budget, we did many of the things that I went in there and I had already prioritized to do, but some of that had to change. And so some of the things I prioritized, I had to remove and put in something else that now became a greater need to fill that initial budget slot, if that makes sense. So, clean out was important. Flooring, I had to refinish the hardwood floors, a new carpet. Painting, it was a log cabin. I wanted to keep as much of the authentic log look as I could, but there was still drywall in areas that was just destroyed. So we had to repair and paint. I did paint one of the walls white so that were logs. It's very controversial, but that was just my design feel in me to go with one white wall to brighten it up. And I'm glad I did. And hopefully you like it from the after pictures. The HVAC, I honestly was not expecting to replace the HVAC, but that's one of those big expenses that became a must do. And I'll tell you why later. And so I had to find money from somewhere else to replace the HVAC. Cabinets turned out beautiful. I went with a green, but cost money. My countertops, my backsplash was quartz, that cost money. And then everything else, I just kind of lumped together because there were so many moving parts. But, just everything from the whole demo with my contractor, who's great. We've had a relationship for a few years now. remodeling 3 full bathrooms, installing the kitchen, putting that back, finishing the basement. We leveled the landscape because it wasn't just the inside of the house, but the exterior of the house needed a lot of love too. There was actually poison ivy everywhere. It was a hot mess. And some exterior repairs because it's a cabin. And the logs were actually in immaculate shape for the age of the house. But there were some things that we needed to replace or repair just for the future buyer and knowing that they're going to have a home inspection coming up. So some of the interesting parts of the journey for me, definitely the smell. I would go home and like taste the house like for the rest of the day. I mean, it was just that bad. So I've just never dealt with anything like that before. My contractors legit bought hazmat suits initially. And I was very worried about them actually. I had ozone machines and everything just to like make sure that they were protected because it was really, really bad. So the surprise find that really was the reason why I couldn't ever live in that house or keep it because, I do get attached to my flips and this one was really hard, but this was just the deal breaker and I could never live there. I had the air ducts professionally cleaned thinking like, okay, we'll get the air ducts professionally cleaned. That'll help with the smell. And I wasn't there, but I had my HVAC guy on the phone. He said, hey, I think I know why the house smells so bad. And I said, why? He said, well, you have a dead cat in the furnace. And I was like, excuse me. I spared to not show that picture, but he sent me a picture, not of the cat. I was like, do not send me a picture of the cat, but he sent me a picture of the inside of the unit after he removed the cat. And it was just like you couldn't save that thing. It was like molded and rot and like, and like every time you would kick the heat on, he's like, I could replace the parts, but every time you kick that heat or you get it going, you're going to have that smell forever because it's like caked in there. Yeah. So I was like, okay, fine. Let's just replace that unit. Wasn't expecting to spend that money for this, but I can't sell a house that smells bad. So that was fun. And one of those extra unexpected costs. And I think my replacement in order to budget for the HVAC was I got rid of my budget to reseal the asphalt driveway. So, it could have looked nicer, but it didn't need it to sell the house. So I took that money and used it for the AC instead. The appraisal was interesting because it was a log cabin. I was a little nervous about the appraisal. So my list price ended up being $475. And I was adamant I could get it. Just knowing the area. And it was actually 2 lots that this house sat on. So the next buyer was buying 2 lots essentially. And I feel like that gave it great value. It was just about an acre between the 2 lots of land. It had the creek and it had a zip line with a bridge over the creek. I mean, it was just so cute and had so much value. And I had a big open house. I put a sign in the yard like a week before my open house, just so the neighbors who were out every day, because it was in October where it was just the weather was amazing. And I wanted them to know I'm having an open house. Come see this house I've been working on for 3 months. And so it was a great turnout and the neighbors came, but some of the more seasoned neighbors were like, how much are you selling this house for? And they didn't believe I was going to get $475. And I was just like, watch me. So anyway, all it took was 1 weekend. We got our buyer. I got my ask price. Then the appraisal came, and going back to this property being unique, I met the appraiser out there. I did what every good agent should do. And I brought comps and was trying to justify the value. And I really thought it was going to appraise for more than even my ask price. But it came low. It came in low. And so I was a little nervous. It came in 18,000 low actually. And this appraiser though, I didn't know him. I don't know where he came from. He seemed to know the area, but he was pulling comps for other cabins, which I get. And he was trying to compare my brand new renovated cabin to like Daniel Boone's cabin in Defiance. That's like a rundown and falling apart. And I was like, I don't think you can do that. But anyways, that was just like the last little hurdle that I had to get over. And long story short, the buyers were just, they were the right buyers for the house, and they were able to bridge the gap and kind of redo their loan to bring less down payment and more cash to closing. So you guys ready to see some after pictures? Okay, so I did some comparisons before and after, and then I just have a link to like my photography photos. So this is before and after of the front. We took out all the landscaping. I tried to grow grass as quickly as I could in the 2 months that we had, just to give it a clean, level look. And my budget for trees, it was $5,000 worth of tree trimming, just to get the brush gone and be able to show off the front of the home. This was the hallway bathroom. So there isn't a master bathroom. On the main level, there's 2 bedrooms with a hallway shared bath. So we decided to make that bath into the master bathroom of the home. And the laundry room was inside of that bathroom. You can't see it in the original photo, but it was like behind that door, and it was weird. So we actually removed the laundry out of that bathroom to make it bigger. We added a tub. There's a shower next to the tub. You can't see it in this picture, but it's a 0 entry shower. So you just walk on in. This was the loft bathroom. Sizing stayed the same, but just freshened up with a shower instead of a tub shower combo. The kitchen area with the new cabinets and the painted wall, painted door trim. We added pantry cabinets to the right there. You can kind of see it, just to give more space and more storage in this little log cabin home. This was the living room area. Again, just new light fixtures. We refinished the hardwood, so that brightened everything up a bit too. And this is it's just so crazy how it's like you would never know. Hopefully the new buyer's not on this call, because they're going to be like, what? That was our house. But yeah, it's crazy. And the porch, I do like to do some DIYs myself if I can. I just like to have some sweat equity in my flip. So I actually painted that porch myself. I was very proud of it. And we added shutters to the outside as well. Add new porch swing and made it all cozy. Okay, so for the numbers, it got a little stressful because I ended up putting in money from my own pocket. But because I knew the margins of that 75% ARV was enough, it was a big chunk, I knew that this could still be done and I would have a pretty big win. So I did end up having a pitch in about 30,000 of my own money in addition to the 54. So the total rehab was more like $84,000, all said and done on this home. When you get to the end of a flip, I feel like it's just like one more thing. And so you're like, by that time, you're just like, here's my card, get it on the market. And then I had some holding costs, with fees and utilities and staging, the lending fees and things like that. So, but because I listed it for 25,000 more than what I was originally expecting, that kind of just made up for what I had to put out of pocket and me getting that back. So 475 is where we landed. I'm sure the neighbors are super thrilled with that comp now. And then all said and done, I was able to pocket about 70,000. So not too bad. That's the most I think I've made on a flip so far out of the 6 that I've done. So I was still very, very happy. It was a great experience. Sorry, somebody's at my door. I might have to get up for a second. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
Okay, so yeah, that was pretty much my presentation. Okay, I'm going to stop my video and mute myself just for a second. Actually, I'm just going to mute myself for a second.
There you go.
Yeah.
From it.
I got a question or two for her, but she did a great job. I think she did a great job of keeping the log cabin character, but also modernizing, the things that needed to be modernized. There's a balance in there that I think she did a really nice job with. Melissa, you did awesome. You did awesome. Love the before and after photos and everything. Can you stop the screen share just so we can see everybody? But you did,
Yes.
it was very well done. Thank you for taking the time to go over that with all of
I
us.
don't know if you want to see all of the after.
Oh, sure. Yeah, scroll through them real quick. That would be great.
Okay. I'm sorry, my dog's like freaking out because of the door. Okay, we're kind of going backwards, but this is the back of the property. So we planted some trees. Never got to redoing the asphalt driveway, but it wasn't a deal breaker for a buyer. I'm sure they appreciated the new AC without dead cat smell.
For sure.
Better. Little bridge, so cute. My zip line. My kids were obsessed with that. I never let them get on it though.
Did you add the zip line and the bridge? I know the bridge was there before, or were those all previously built things?
No, that was all there. The bridge was actually in pretty good shape. We just had to power wash it because it was really dirty. I went to a different room, so my dog, we can't hear my dog. Yeah, it was really cute. And that's a creek, which they call it a what's it called? A weathered creek or a dry weathered creek, or because it's only full when we have a heavy rain. So it wasn't really like a flood issue. Just in a heavy rain, then you have a little creek for a few days.
So you never tried the zip line the whole time you owned it?
My
Dang.
contractor might have. I was like, go for it.
I would have.
Nope. That and kids stay away from it. And even in my seller's disclosures, I said there's a zip line, but I don't know the functionality of it. Yeah. So we didn't paint anything exterior except for the deck, just to freshen it up. This was the basement part, the storage area. I painted the floor. I was very proud of myself. And the walls and the ceiling I had sprayed just to freshen it all up. And we did do new basement windows too in there. The garage was also a very smelly area. I think the dogs pooped in there too a lot. But we painted the garage doors and gave it just a fresh, clean look. Okay, here's the basement that we never saw before pictures of because I told you I couldn't even go down there. There was no light and it was probably actually the stinkiest part of the house. So this is the bedroom that was down there. That we made down there, or a room. This is the full bath that was down there, which was really fun to pick out all the finishings. So when you come down the stairs, which you kind of see in the back right, that black door goes into the the unfinished storage space. And then you just have this living room space with that full bathroom. We wrapped the poles in cedar wood just to kind of carry the cabin look.
What color did you paint the walls in the basement? Is that just a white, or I can't tell from the photos?
Yeah, it's definitely a white. It had a name though. It wasn't just like white. It was a mix.
Okay.
I can't remember. It might have been called blank canvas. I think it was a beige color. This is the shower that we added to the main level bathroom, which we called the master bathroom. We wanted that to be like the luxurious feeling bathroom. You saw that picture.
You mentioned earlier when you were talking about that main level bathroom that you kind of made it the master. Did you also leave a door for guests to use, or was there another bath on the main floor, or how did you do that?
Yeah, so this bathroom is actually in the hallway. So like off the kitchen, you have a little hallway and you have a bedroom on each side of the hallway, and then this is in the middle.
Mhm.
So it doesn't pass through either bedroom.
Okay,
So this would be the bathroom that guests would use.
gotcha.
But if you chose to have your main bedroom on the main floor, then this would also probably be the bathroom that they were using. It's just the fanciest of all the bathrooms. So we called it the master, but I mean, it's not a real master.
Gotcha. I'm following you.
Yeah, if that
Mhm.
makes sense. Oh, I
Yeah.
think so this is one of of the bedrooms in that hallway I was telling you about. The wood ceiling was already there, which was just so pretty. I debated on painting it white, and then I said, no, I'm going to leave the raw look. All of the doors are brand new, so all of those paneled, that modern look, really just made the house pop some more. Here's that. It's the front bedroom in that hallway. It's a little bigger than the other bedroom. This is the other bedroom. We tried to mimic the ceiling look that was already in the other bedroom. So it's a little bit lighter because we didn't stain it. We left it raw. They were really ugly ceiling tiles before. So we had to do something with the ceiling. So we decided to case it in. We had to hide some pipes in that bedroom. So it drops a little bit lower, but it still gives the same effect.
Mm.
And there it is again. The loft bathroom. Here's the loft area, which I didn't really have many before pictures of either. But I mean, it could be a bedroom if someone wanted to put a piece of drywall where that overlook is. They could close it in, but we just didn't want to close it in because it was more money, and I didn't know what the end buyer wanted. I didn't want to spend more money if the end buyer was going to take it out.
Mhm.
I wanted open again. So this is just a different angle of the loft, which you can see all the way to the right is the stairwell. So basically you come in the front door and you go up the stairs to this loft. And here's just a different view. So that white wall I did both sides of. So you had a little pop of white from either room. Yeah. And the stone fireplace I left natural. We cleaned it. I mean, there was like cobwebs everywhere and balls of dog and cat hair. It was so gross. But yeah, I debated whitewashing that, but we ended up leaving it natural. The kitchen, yeah, was the biggest transformation. Obviously, we added the island. Island wasn't there, so we gave some more counter space. New appliances, my beautiful green cabinets, which I was kind of nervous about, but I just from the get-go, I was like, log cabin, I need some green in there. It's in the forest, like it just will go. So I'm glad that I end up doing the green. It's coming back. Like green's like an in color now, I feel like. And then we added those pantry cabinets, which you can see on the right, across from the green cabinets. I kept those white just to kind of match the white wall that was going on the other side. Some reviews. And that's about it. I was battling the leaves at the end. I mean, they were just coming down.
You made the
So that
pictures
was
look
like
awesome though.
struggle. I was like, hurry up, get them off the roof and then take the picture.
Mhm.
And they're still on the roof. Uh, but yeah, it was a good time for pictures because the leaves started turning too. And I was like, okay, good.
Perfect for a log cabin feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it turned out awesome, Melissa. You did a great job.
Thank you. Do me stop sharing my screen?
Yeah, let's just see if anybody's got questions. So anybody got questions, comments, feedback for Melissa?
A question. I'm sorry, Melissa. So, did you think about going back to the lender and requesting maybe a second appraisal? Or,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. And I lucked out with a really great buyer's agent too on the other end. So she was totally like for fighting it. But at the end, it just wasn't gonna it wasn't going to happen. And I mean, I told her I'm ready to go back to the market if they can't bridge the gap. Honestly, like I wasn't in the point where I was going to lose $18,000. I knew that this house, I already had agents saying, call me if something falls through. So I was quick to take their offer, and I put my foot down. I was like, I'm not going to lower the price. So you can either, your down payment's 20%. Like I can see that on the contract, your buyers have money, so they can either rework their loan to bring less of a down payment and release cash to bring to closing, or you can go with my guy, with my preferred lender, because I just know that he will get us there, you know? And so I gave them those two choices, and they tried to be sneaky about it and like split it with me and like whatever. And I was like, no, I'll go back to the market. Those are your choices. Let me know by Monday. So yeah, thankfully it worked out. So, and we still closed 2 days early. So that was good.
Awesome.
I feel like it speaks to like you being a seasoned agent to like help with that and the confidence in the product. So I walk a lot of unusual houses. And I feel like what you have that a lot of people don't have is you have a vision, and you have the design ability that a lot of people don't have. How did you get that? Is that just like who you are, or how, I don't know. I feel like your design is just really well done.
Yeah, thank you. I do enjoy design a lot. I've been an agent for a while, and 3 years ago was really my first experience with a house flip, because it was our own house that we are in as primary residence now, but we gutted it, took every wall down. And it was just so fun rebuilding it and picking out all the selections. And I was like, I want to do this again, but I can't like demo my house again. So that's kind of what got me started on flipping homes and then putting it back on the market. And no, I mean, I do. I enjoy the design part of it. And sometimes I have to also like remind myself that it's not my house. And so I can't go like too crazy with design. It has to be like neutral still, so that it will be attractive to any buyer's eye. And also to not spend money on things that aren't necessary, or that, but just to like, I've tried to train myself over the past 3 years of doing this to make a house nice and functional, and add certain things that go above and beyond like your basic builder's house, 4 walls and a roof. But yeah, to also like have self-control and not buy the $150 chandelier when I could find one that is going to be just as sufficient for $50 on Amazon, and get the job done and sell the house. So.
Yeah, I feel like it's like, a good thing to remember for everyone else on the call, like to have a good design or partner with someone who can see that design. Because I think it makes a huge difference. Like when I think about that versus, just kind of like a basic cookie cutter house, yours will sell, even though it's unique, you did the right stuff to help make that thing sell and create interest. It looks like it should be something in like a magazine, which excites people. And I feel like so many people right now are buying based off pictures, or at least getting people to the house. So just great job with all of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with that. The design was incredible, Melissa. I remember looking at the before pictures and I thought, no way. I don't know what I would do with that, because I don't have a design eye. So I knew that couldn't be a house for me. But when you got it and had that design, it really, you put it into action well. So good job with it.
Thank you.
Who else?
Melissa?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Melissa, you did a great job with that house. I got just 2 questions. How long did it take you to rehab that house from start to finish? And when you have a house like that with so much wood, do you have to have a check for termites? Is that an issue?
So I was scared. It was one of my like risky things, because, when you buy a house through a wholesaler, you don't get like the traditional inspection where then you can like say no and back out. It's kind of like when you dive in, you dive in. But I did try to like walk it, and I would recommend like walk it with, like even because I was using the lending side of it through FasterFunds, Brian walked with me, and I was like, okay, help me see like if you can see significant like red flags of damage from termites or wood rot. And I think just being in the real estate industry and walking so many houses with my own home inspector, I kind of already had an eye for what to look for. But no, that was just one of the risks where I was like, okay, I think we're good. And so I just kind of held my breath and went for it. Now I did later see what they call carpenter bees. They were there.
Wow.
And I was like, oh shoot. And then I saw one like actually like burrow into like a hole in the wood on the outside. And I was like, oh no. And so just for my own sake of knowing what I'm getting myself into later during a buyer's home inspection, I had my pest control company come out. I was even going to pay them for an inspection because I just wanted to know what I was to be prepared. But they actually came out and they didn't charge me, and they just did a quick like look, and they were like, yeah, you definitely have carpenter bees, but no termites. So I was like, oh good. And carpenter bees can be treated. I mean, it's not the end of the world. I think that's the better scenario than termites. Termites can be treated too. And it wasn't like an infestation, but I mean, there were definitely a lot of holes. So I actually was going to fill them all in so I could put on the seller's disclosures that the house has been treated for that. And I was even thinking about putting a termite warranty on the house so I could also disclose and calm a future buyer's concerns about that there's also a warranty for termites. I ended up doing neither because it was just like my budget was done. Like I was done. I was like, well, if that's a deal breaker for a buyer, then we'll negotiate at during the contract. But it never got brought up even in their inspection. I mean, I'm sure it probably got brought up, but like I said, I just had a really good buyer's agent. She's actually a home inspector herself, but she didn't do their home inspection just so she didn't cross that line. But I think because she was still there with the home inspector, she kind of was able to like not make a big deal out of things that could have been a big deal. So yeah, I don't know if they answered your question, but
Yeah. No, you did. I didn't even think of carpenter bees. Those little suckers are hard to deal with, and they actually can drill through some wood really, really fast. I didn't even think about that.
it didn't say that like construction and like a lot like they don't like noise. Like one of the remedies is
Yeah.
like have wind chimes or whatever because they don't like the noise. So I think all the construction on the home, because it was loud for 3 months.
Yeah.
Probably vacated. Like I only saw actual like one bee, but there were a lot of holes. So clearly they had been there.
Yeah.
But I don't know like how active they actually were at the time because we were making a lot of noise.
How long did it take you to do that rehab from start to finish, time wise?
Oh, right. I acquired the property in mid-July, but I don't think we really got in there and started demoing until August. So I would say probably 4 months because I acquired it mid-July and we closed late November. So
That's
from
nice.
like signing to signing, it was about 4 months.
Do you have a company that you work with to do the rehab, or like somebody you normally work with, or did you kind of have to source that on
Yeah,
the fly as you went?
definitely some things were sourced just so that we could keep as many hands working as possible. My contractor has one guy he brings with him. So it's just him and his guy, and they're phenomenal. And I've known him and he's like a family friend now. And so he gets on all my jobs, but because he's so tied up doing like something and to keep us on schedule, then I'll hire somebody else to like paint the house while he's like, putting the bathrooms and kitchens back together. So, or I'll hire someone else to refinish the floors while he's, doing something else. So there were a few different people involved, but I do have like one main guy that I bring with me initially, and we talk about all the things and prioritize the list and go from there.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing. You did a great job. And if you ever need a side hustle, I think you could be a good interior decorator too. So
one of my many jobs on my bucket list.
yeah. Well, thanks for sharing, Melissa. Nice to meet you.
You too.
Anyone else have any other questions or comments for Melissa?
I got one. You talked about moving the laundry out of the bathroom. Where did you end up moving it to?
Yes. We actually just bumped it up in that hallway. So so then that way we created more space in that bathroom. Shower that was where you had a full-size washer and dryer sitting like across from each other. So instead, we bumped all of that upward to where we have a stacked unit in the hallway right next to the bathroom. That used to be a closet next to the bathroom. So we used that space of the closet, yes, and then a little bit of the bathroom to put that there. I don't know if that makes sense. So it's a stacked washer and dryer unit in the hallway instead of in the bathroom. And though we were getting rid of that closet space, we added all these pantry cabinets to the kitchen that weren't there before, that someone could easily use one of them as like a linen closet.
So it was a good size closet then to be able to accommodate that.
Not really. It was like a door closet that you open, and it had, maybe just like some 12-inch deep shelves. It wasn't very deep to begin with. So yeah, so we just decided, well, let's just put it here so it's not in the bathroom, and then we can create more bathroom space and just go back into the bathroom from the closet a little bit more deeper wise, so we could get a stack in there. I don't think I have any pictures. I would have to dig for one of what that space looked like. But it was still doing level laundry. So, at least it was in the basement. And I think a lot of buyers actually nowadays don't want laundry in the basement. So even though it was a stacked situation, it was still on the main level. And yeah.
Yeah, it's good you were able to make it all fit, because I do agree. I think people do want main floor laundry when they can.
Melissa, we like to try to share contractors and stuff as much as possible. We got a resource page on our website. Do you have anybody that you love that you're willing to share, like your stager, your painter, your HVAC guy, or pest control, any of that type of stuff that you'd be willing to share?
Yeah, definitely. I can post them on there. I use Enhance at Home Staging.
Okay, we already we have them on there.
Yes, they're like my family now.
Yeah.
I use Aaron's Pest.
Okay.
Yeah, my contractor, I can put his name on there, but good luck booking him. I've had to like go find like plan B people, because he's just, if I don't tell him beforehand, I'm looking for a house, so make sure in 4 months your time is freed up, then, he could be booked out, and then he just tries to squeeze me in on weekends. So it gets tricky, but no.
We usually don't try to take people's main contractors, so we won't post that, but any of the people that you're willing to, that would be great.
Yeah, for sure.
Who did you use for HVAC? Do you remember?
Oh yeah. His name is, it's Stokes HVAC, Ben Stokes. And he's actually, I think he lives in St. Charles, so he's pretty close.
Very cool. Anybody else got any final questions?
Yeah, I feel like final questions just in general for Melissa or for the group, because we are gonna wrap up because it's almost 1.
If anybody needs help with construction, we can always help you too, as a plan B or a plan A. Let us know. We got a good team.
Yeah, good shout out for Ryan there. And also, I don't know who you use for kitchen cabinets, but John Morgan is, for anybody who needs kitchen or bathroom cabinets, make sure to reach out to John.
He was my guy that got me my green cabinets, because I called a few different places and they were either like way out of my budget, or they couldn't be here in 4 weeks. So John he saved the day for me. He said, I have green cabinets and they will be here in 4 weeks.
Perfect. They looked awesome. That's awesome.
So thanks, John.
John has saved the day for a lot of us.
Thanks for the plug, Brian. And hey, listen, for those of you that are in a pinch, I can really get that lead time down to 2 weeks right now. And if I can plug myself, as of January, mid to late January, we'll have White Shaker in stock. So just keep that in mind for all your projects. We're coming after the wholesalers.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah, and Ryan does really good work too. I've walked a lot of his properties and they always look nice. So
Appreciate it. Thank you.
yeah.
John, I owe you a kitchen, and Ryan, I'm gonna Facebook message you about your construction stuff. So
Awesome. Well, Melissa, thank you so much for taking time today to do that and share your story And thank you all for joining. If there's anything that we can ever help you with, don't hesitate to reach out to Rachel, Brian, or I. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoy your week, and we'll be back next week. So hopefully we'll see you then.
See you guys.
Bye, guys. Thanks, Melissa.
Yep, no problem.